Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. Second keel. The parameters and so on are much smaller. The quality is also maintained at Blue Rare. Blue is rare and is the highest quality for starships of this grade. Red Excellence is the exclusive quality of extreme length, width and height. After reading these data, I am speechless. Heart. In addition to being shocked, it is still shocking. Zian's design talent and evolutionary talent were so powerful that even though she had tried her best to overestimate them, she found that she still underestimated them. In less than a year, both keels were designed, was also produced. It's unimaginable. Saved a lot of money and a lot of time. Ren Qingying suddenly felt. Inviting Zian to join may be the most correct decision she has ever made in her life. After the manufacturing was completed, Zian was very satisfied with his masterpiece and said, "As soon as you go back, ask the Starship department to start manufacturing immediately. But remember, these data must be kept strictly confidential, and all the personnel involved in the department's manufacturing will be investigated for 18 generations. I don't want the manufacturing parameters and processes of the Starship to be exposed later. In addition, initial manufacturing may face multiple failures, so you just need to try a few more times." After listening to Zian's words, Ren Qingying nodded repeatedly, "Yeah. I know that we have always been the strictest in confidentiality, so you can rest assured." Zian smiled, "Okay, then it's okay, let's leave it like that for now. I still have things to do here." Ren Qingying can do anything. She couldn't wait any longer. Both left the virtual metaverse. Zian continued his long hunting journey. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, half a year has passed. It's still the familiar evolution factory that supports spacecraft. Zian is evolving the Starship for everyone at the same time. The hunt lasted 8 months. All the girls seem to be no longer the same. Because there is no participation of Zian. They need to rely entirely on themselves. He also encountered danger many times. For example, I encountered a fleet led by a cruiser many times. Even recently, they even solved a fleet led by a cruiser by themselves. Although their own losses were also very large, it was enough to see their progress during this period. And fighting is always the fastest way to improve. Not only can you get a lot of evolution points by fighting, while gaining a large amount of evolution points, the opponent's biological energy is also filled in your body, which can greatly increase your cultivation speed. After all, evolutionary value is also converted from biological energy. Therefore, as long as you keep fighting, your cultivation speed will only get faster and faster. A full 8 months. The 5 girls are by Xiaoyuan, Hu Qiqi, Miao Xiaomi, Qin Fuyue and Taimei. All have evolved to the 7th level assault ship level. And now, we are preparing to evolve the 8th level assault ship. As for Zian, it is 8 to 9. After being promoted to the 10th level assault ship. Just 2 steps away. It's a destroyer. Do the math. The rodent eradication pioneer project started until now. It's time to end. Because of the starships of the assault ship and above level, basically got killed. Only hundreds of thousands of frigates and reconnaissance ships are still left. But frigates and reconnaissance ships, not to mention Zian and the brilliant fleet. Even the other fleets don't have any interest. A waste of time and energy, but not much evolutionary value. But these enemies won't go to waste. After, all forces will prepare frigates and even reconnaissance ship-level geniuses to arrive here to carry out the second round of the Rodent Vanguard plan. Of course, if participants in the first round want to continue participating, there will be no problem. However, I am afraid that no one will participate. At least Zian and the others will not participate again. It will take several months to return to the Manhwa star territory from here and then back to the Earth Federation. After returning to Shenzhou Academy, Zian will almost start the evolution of the destroyer. And once you wait until you evolve into a destroyer, the reward from the Universal Human Federation obtained from the previous incident with the Ghana tribe can now be used. That reward is the Peak Battle Qualification Certificate. Peak Battle Qualification Certificate. It can only be activated after Zian breaks through to the destroyer captain. These days, Zian also already understood what this Pinnacle Battle Qualification Certificate was. It was a true gathering of the top geniuses within the scope of the Cosmic Human Federation. Destroyer Captain is just the beginning. Most of them are cruiser captains. There's even a super genius of a battleship captain. To know, most of those super geniuses who are battleship captains are about the same age as Hai Tang, and some are even younger than Hai Tang. Asterisk. Now he is only in his 30s and less than 40 years old. More than 30 years old, in terms of the dimension of human life in the universe. It is not an exaggeration to say that they are young and young. The absolute top genius. The Peak Battle is a grand event for selecting super geniuses. In other words, it is a grand gathering organized by the top forces in the universe. It is said, as long as you get a high enough ranking, then it is even possible to join a dominant force like the Universe Technology Group. That's the Universe Technology Group. The future starship is just an insignificant small business of the Universe Technology Group. Even the virtual metaverse is only a small part of the business of Universe Technology Group. Universe Technology Group integrates medicine, starships, weapons, equipment, minerals, etc. Although the Universe Technology Group exists as a group company, but under his hands, he controls more than 20 realms of the Star Sea. There are only 108 Star Seas in the entire Cosmic Human Federation. In addition, I heard that the Universe Technology Group has 10 legions under its command. These 10 legions are the pinnacle combat effectiveness of the entire Universe Technology Group. Let's put it that way. A cosmic technology group can even easily wipe out any ethnic group except the insects and inhumans. The chairman of the Universe Technology Group is one of the most powerful people in the Universe and Human Federation today, and one of the few talkative people in the Universe and Human Federation. Guarding the human territory for countless years, it has contributed unimaginable power to the prosperity of the human race. There are 7 dominant forces like the Universe Technology Group. Universe Technology Group, Free Channel, Universe Superbank, Interstellar Hunters Guild, Universe Energy Group, Universe First Pharmaceutical Group, Starry Sky Chamber of Commerce. What does Free Shipping Lane do? 99% of space relay stations are free channels. Universe Superbank, the most awesome bank in the universe. Needless to say, the Interstellar Hunter Guild. 99% of the biological captains and mechanical captains of the Space Human Federation are interstellar hunters. Universe Energy Group, as the name suggests. It is a group specializing in energy. The thieves are rich and control 70% of energy development and trade. The number 1 pharmaceutical group in the universe controls about 70% of biomedicine. The final Starry Sky Chamber of Commerce is a commercial organization composed of companies, groups, etc. But if you want to say that he is weak, you can only say that you are simple-minded. After all, Universe Technology Group is also a part of the Starry Sky Chamber of Commerce. These 7 Overlord-level forces form the pinnacle framework of the Universal Human Federation. After that, there are the Mechanical Empire, the Cosmic Human Bank, the Interstellar Weapons Group, the Infinite Brain Group, the Deep Space Trading Group, and so on. After that, there are 108 Shanghai-level top forces. Then, money is good, are the Galaxy-level forces, Star Domain-level forces, that is, the Soul Empire, Star Cluster-level forces, Nebula-level forces, etc. Each of these forces, forming the entire huge Cosmic Human Federation. They are also collectively called Cosmic Human Federation. The Universal Human Federation is the supreme authority. Internally, there may be fighting and competition with each other. But externally, definitely united. This is the framework of the current Cosmic Human Federation. And the Peak Battle Qualification Certificate. To put it more simply, just a super genius filter. Selected super geniuses. It is based on your own mind and your own ranking. Join these overlord forces, super forces, and top forces. Thus the fish leaps over the dragon gate and soars into the sky. Don't look at it, Zian is very cool now. But in fact, compared to the Human Federation in the universe, it is actually nothing. But as long as he joins those top forces, super forces, and even overlord forces, so Zian's future, it will truly become a road to heaven. The future is extremely broad. 8 days later, the Brilliance successfully evolved into a 9th level assault ship, and the girls successfully evolved into an 8th level assault ship. Their current evolutionary progress is the same, both at the 8th level, including Qin Fuyue at the back and Bai Xiaoyao, who was the fastest at the beginning. Bai Xiaoyuan waited for a long time before they evolved together, striving to have the same evolution speed. Qin Fuyue and the other girls were also waiting for her. The reason is that they are required to evolve at the same pace. It's because only in this way, Zian can evolve them all at once. Otherwise, Qin Fuyue will evolve in these 2 days, and Miao Xiaomi will evolve in the next 2 days. Where does Zian still have time to do his own things? The starship has evolved. It's almost time for the first round of the rodent eradication pioneer program to end. Compare that to the more than 3,000 people who first came in. Now there are only less than 900 people left. More than 2,000 people either died or were eliminated. Fell. Hundreds of people died. These people all died after being ambushed by the enemy. There was no time to even call for help. Even a battlefield of this intensity can kill hundreds of people. You can also imagine how high the real battlefield mortality rate would be. Anyway, that's the same sentence. Never set foot on the battlefield without a cruiser. Support ship, in the lobby. The remaining 900 people gathered together. However, everyone's eyes were focused on Zian and the fleet. Only wonder. When someone is better than you, you will be envious and jealous. But when this person is strong, you can only stand tall and look up to him. Then you have nothing but admiration and wonder. Zian and the brilliant fleet are the undisputed number one. 327, Zian's personal total points reached 33,823 points. Ranked second is still Lu Tianming. He is the strongest genius in the Qiongyue Star Territory, ranking second, and he is well deserved. But his total points are only 5,221 points. More than 20,000 less than Zian. The huge gap made him lose interest in competing with Zian for first place. Even third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh place. They are all occupied by Hu Qiqi and the girls. Miao Miao is third. Fox Qiqi is fourth. Qin Fuyue is fifth. Thailand and the United States are sixth. Bai Xiaoyuan is seventh. Although it is 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. However, the difference in points between the girls is not that big. They are all about 5,000 points. The difference is only 100 at most. But these points have nothing to do with them. Why, you ask? Very simple. These points have all paid off the debt. Although Zian had forgiven them billions of debts before. However, the reason why they continued to evolve so quickly, it is impossible to say that the effect is just due to a large number of battles. In addition, there are all kinds of natural and earthly treasures to support you every day. As a result, their cultivation has not fallen behind Zian in the past 8 months. Has been closely following Zian's growth pace. If we just talk about the speed of cultivation, they are all already at the top level of monsters, BBDG. Hesitation, they are now assault ship captains. Natural materials and earth treasures are more expensive. Even the third-grade natural materials and treasures are more powerful. There is no need to soak every day, only once a week. But the high price still left each of the women with tens of billions of debts. Including Qin Fuyue. So what if she is now Su Zian's pillow? Public is public and private is private. If Qin Fuyue is given a discount or exemption, it would actually be unfair to the other women. It is not conducive to Su Zian's management of the brilliant fleet. FFLX. Treat everyone equally. For example, the last reduction, only Miao Xiaomi and Hu Qiqi were exempted. Actually, by Xiao Yuan and Taimei's, and of course Qin Fuyue's, are all exempted. This is another debt worth tens of billions. It's what they owe over the past 8 months. To know. This is tens of billions, but the price given by Su Zian is extremely favorable. If you sell it outside, everyone starts at least 50 billion. Even more. It's only been 8 months. This is the captain of the assault ship. The financial resources consumed are so terrifying. So this is why this cultivation method is called the Shinhao cultivation method. Ordinary people, ordinary families. Who can afford such expensive training fees? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. And to know. This is just the personal standings. There is also a fleet standings. The brilliant fleet is also a well-deserved number 1. Points can be 100% converted into military merit. The fleet points total are 270,000 points. These 270,000 points will be divided equally between Su Zian and the girls. That means each person can get 45,000 points. Including the original, the girls' points are about 50,000. Su Zian, on the other hand, has nearly 80,000 points. This is already quite scary. This is a year-on-year conversion of 80,000 military merits. If you exchange it according to the market price, then these 80,000 military merits are equivalent to 8 billion. It doesn't seem like much. But be aware. Many things cannot be bought outside. They are only available in the treasure house of the Universal Human Federation, and these things can only be redeemed with points. On stage, the organizer finished announcing the title of the first place. That is Su Zian, and the queen of the brilliant fleet. Suddenly, Su Zian's wealth value skyrocketed by 800,000 points. Su Zian's guess was not wrong. Military merit. It is also recognized as a valuable asset. After the 80,000 points of military merit are received, Su Zian can log into the Federal Treasure House Exchange website and redeem any items he can afford. But, for the time being, Su Zian will definitely not use military power at will. Now, if you can buy it with money, try to buy it with money. It cannot be purchased with money. Just use school points to redeem it. There are also a lot of good things in the treasure house of Shenzhou Academy. For example, Su Zian had already reserved some parts for the destroyer class and even purchased them. Su Zian has no shortage of school points now. It's just right for exchanging destroyer-level parts. It will soon evolve into a destroyer, and it is time to prepare for the evolution of a destroyer. The only thing Su Zian regrets is wealth values are not cumulative breakthroughs. But it can only break through after reaching a certain amount in the account. Otherwise, it will be calculated as the accumulated wealth value. Su Zian has actually reached a wealth value of 10 million, ushering in a breakthrough in new functions of the system. OJM #. It is not calculated cumulatively. But that's okay. Take it easy. It is also impossible to say that in order to accumulate wealth, one's own simulations, as well as one's own biological energy evolution and breakthroughs have stagnated. That's the stupidest thing to do. After the military achievements of the women have not yet warmed up. Then it all went into Su Zian's pocket. A total of just over 2.5 million points of wealth were brought to Su Zian. In addition to what Su Zian just rewarded, and what was left. Su Zian's wealth value has now exceeded 3.7 million points. 3.7 million points. Already very, very much. If converted to evolutionary simulation, that's 370 times. That's 370 years. Of course, the most important thing is that there are still 2 to 300,000 military merits recorded. Enough to exchange for many things. At least after Zian took a few glances. Then you know. In the future, I will have parts for immortal ships and even void ships. Everything is settled. The premise is that you have enough military merit. Rodent Exterminator Project. It's completely over since then. Next. It is time to set off back to the Manhwa star territory. Back and forth, I have been here for almost a year. In addition to the previous time on the Imperial City Star, and the subsequent pursuit of human traders, etc. It has been almost 2 years since I graduated from Shenzhou University. It's time to go back and take a look. By the way, on the way back, prepare the parts needed to evolve the destroyer. Wait until you arrive at Shenzhou University. It's almost time to evolve into a destroyer. But it was also at this time. Senior brother Zhang Yuanhai. But suddenly a communication video call came to Zian. Zian was startled. Senior brother, we usually use the communicator to chat. Take the initiative to call yourself a communication video. It's the first time. With curiosity, Zian connected the communication. The communication was connected, and senior brother Zhang Yuanhai appeared in front of him. With a gentle smile on his face, he looked at Zian and asked with a smile, "Junior brother, I didn't disturb you, did I?" Zian smiled and replied, "Of course not. What needs to be dealt with has been dealt with." Zhang Yuanhai smiled and nodded, "That's right. A few months ago, Master got a few places for you and your dazzling fleet in the Taiku Galaxy training camp. These quotas are quite precious. So from now on, you should try your best to spare time and go to the Taiku Galaxy training camp for training." Zhang Yuanhai said straightforwardly. Zian was stunned. Taiku Galaxy training camp? What is this place? He knew that the training camp was, if nothing else, a place to train Star Wars abilities or something like that. But this was the first time he heard about the Taiku Galaxy training camp. And it is said that it is a very precious place to allow Master to take action on his own. That must be very precious, and you don't have to think about it to know that this training camp will be very, very helpful to you. Otherwise, the Master would not have specifically given himself this quota, and would have asked his senior brother to pay attention to him at all times. I had just finished the rodent eradication vanguard plan when I received a call from my senior brother. Zian himself didn't believe it if his senior brother didn't pay attention to him all the time. Zian thought for a while and said with some hesitation, "I think you know it, senior brother. Last time, I uncovered the Ghanaian incident. Then the Universal Human Federation headquarters rewarded me with a qualification certificate for the peak battle. And this qualification certificate only needs to be activated at the destroyer level. I'm actually almost older now. So if I go to that training camp, will there be some conflict in time?" Zian finished speaking. Zhang Yuanhai smiled and said, "You don't have to worry about this. We all know about this and have taken it into consideration. This peak battle is a grand gathering for all monsters and above-level geniuses in our universe's human federation. And the age range is relatively broad, so there are many strong people. According to previous years, the top 3 are usually battleship captains. I believe this peak battle will be no exception. In addition, the duration of each peak competition is 3 years. The peak battle of this year will not officially begin until half a year later. The selection will be conducted in the virtual metaverse first. I pass the selection half a year later and will have a 3-year peak battle. Select the group of super geniuses with the most powerful talents. So, in terms of time, it is completely within time. Even with your current breakthrough speed, after you evolve into a cruiser captain, the peak battle is not really over yet. You don't have to worry about this at all." Zhang Yuanhai explained with a smile. After Zian heard this, he couldn't help but be secretly surprised. It can only be said that it is indeed a genius event for the human federation in the entire universe. Unexpectedly, top geniuses are not eligible to participate, only geniuses of monster level and above are eligible to participate. And, come to think of it, not everyone can participate, you must have a qualification certificate. And this qualification certificate, it must be a kind of recognition. After all, the universe is too big. Even if there are few geniuses above the monster level, considering the number of the entire human race, they are still pitifully small. Under such circumstances, naturally, it is impossible for everyone to participate. He must have a clean background, have great potential, and make a certain contribution to the human race, etc., right? After all, it is not uncommon for true geniuses to reach the level of cruiser captain within the age limit. As for the geniuses of destroyer captains and even assault ship captains, there are many geniuses going to the battlefield. Killing the enemy on the battlefield is considered a contribution to the human race. That's basically what it means. Otherwise, don't say 3 years. In 30 years, we may not be able to complete the selection. Population base. It's really scary. Senior brother Zhang Yuanhai continued to say, actually, given your age, even participating in the next session and the next session is enough. It is not necessary to participate in this peak battle. In short, I can only say that it would be a pity to miss this Taiku Xinghai training camp. The elder brother had already said this, so of course Zian would not have any objections and immediately nodded and said, okay, when will the training camp be held? Zhang Yuanhai replied, there are still 3 months until the training plan for this period of training camp. So, you have to go as soon as possible. Zian smiled bitterly, 3 months. I originally planned to go back to school first. Then it seems that now we can only go to the ancient star sea. I don't even know if it will be late. Zhang Yuanhai smiled and said, it's enough time. When the time comes, I will directly arrange for a void ship to take you there. Oh yes, you should also have a void ship guardian now, right? You can just ask her to take you there directly. If your starship is directly parked in her starship warehouse, and then her starship will directly take you to space jump, it will not take 3 months, but 20 days will be enough. Zian opened his eyes, can it still be like this? This is indeed the first time Ran and has heard of this way of traveling. Zhang Yuanhai laughed and said, what's wrong with this? The void ship is tens of thousands of meters long. How can it still hold a few of your starships that are only a few hundred meters long? You contact her first to see if she is willing. You tell her that you will pay for the cost along the way, and I will bear the cost. If you don't want to, that's okay. I'll just send a void ship to pick you up later. The whole journey will only take more than a month and it won't affect you at all. Zian had nothing to say. Can only say, his knowledge has just opened up. But if you think about it carefully, it seems that this is really the case. Yes. The void ships are tens of thousands of meters long. The maximum length of the void ship has reached a terrifying 36,999.9 meters. That is 37,000 meters. The ultimate length is impossible, but 30,000 meters is possible, right? Asking for flowers, 0. And a 30,000 meter starship, no matter how small the warehouse is, can't hold an assault ship several hundred meters long? Stop it. The communication with senior brother has just ended. Zian sent a message to his guardian. In fact, Zian only knew that he had a guardian and also added his contact information. But what is the other person's name, what age, who is it, and even what gender? Zian didn't even know. Although he is his own protector, he is also a dignified void ship captain. Super top combat power. How could such a big guy, Zian, dare to disturb the other party at will? Zian, big boss, call Tian Lao. My bodyguard? This is a note from my bodyguard. It was Zian's note to the other party. It can be regarded as a little self-satisfaction for myself. Look, a void ship captain level bodyguard, just ask how many people in this universe can get such treatment? Even the Federation chief of the Earth Federation, who is also Lu Yuyu's grandfather, doesn't dare to think about it. Zian, boss, I want to rush to Taiku Galaxy within 3 months to participate in the Taiku Galaxy training camp. Zian, I may be a little late in time, so I just want to ask you, can you take us there? Zian, don't worry, I will bear all the travel expenses for this trip. My bodyguard, yes. The other party's answer was cold and concise. However, after seeing that the other party agreed, Zian immediately replied to the message to senior brother Zhang Yuanhai. Zhang Yuanhai, okay, I will transfer 10 nanometer clusters to your account later. You can transfer them to her later. Zian couldn't help but be speechless. Nanoclusters. It is one of the most high-end fuels in the universe. Production is very rare. And it is specially used for space jump. Starships above the cruiser level will have to use them after installing a space jump engine. But I didn't expect it. This trip alone will cost 10 nanometer clusters. A complete nanostar cluster costs 100 million. That is to say, the fuel consumption alone for this voyage reached 100 million. It can only be said that this kind of high-end game is really unbearable. Soon, Zhang Yuanhai transferred 10 nanometer clusters to Zian's Universe Superbank account. These 10 nanometer clusters can be taken out at any time at any store of the Universe Superbank. Of course, it can also be converted into cosmic coins. But most people, no one would exchange nano clusters for cosmic coins. The reason why I switched to the Universe Superbank account now. It is because only the Cosmic Superbank can truly achieve full coverage within the scope of the Cosmic Human Federation. Earth Federation Bank? It was just a small, inconspicuous bank. It has become stronger and has gone beyond the scope of the Earth Federation. It definitely has to be the Universe Superbank. As soon as the money arrives, Zian immediately asked the bodyguard for her bank account. And Zian. I finally knew her name. Mu Ziqiu. Look at the name, $718. Perhaps? J. Or a woman? Zian blinked. In the support ship. Fourth senior sister Lu Yuyu kept telling Zian what he needed to pay attention to. At this time, she seemed to be possessed by Qin Fuyue, turning into a little nag. The training camp is really dangerous. Although you will gain a lot after graduation, the mortality rate is as high as 30% on average, and sometimes as high as 50%. Lu Yuyu said with a serious expression, back then, I almost died, and the starship was almost exploded. So, you really have to be extremely cautious. Zian was stunned. So dangerous? Lu Yuyu was a top evildoer back then. Moreover, her starship was either evolved by herself, or evolved by her master or her senior brothers and sisters. Anyway, it's definitely not bad. How could the quality of the evolver starship be so bad? Even in this situation, he almost died. That should indeed be dangerous. Zian's expression was a little more solemn. He didn't ask Lu Yuyu about the specific training content of this Taiyu training camp. Because according to Lu Yuyu, the training content is different in each period. Such as suppressing bandits, hunting down the 797 human traders, or even going to the battlefield. All in all, very diverse. Okay, I won't be verbose. Anyway, you just have to know what you are doing. Lu Yuyu said, I also want to return to the Earth Federation. Recently, interstellar pirates have been very active in the Earth Federation, and there have been signs of activities by some human traders. I have to go back and clean it up. Zian nodded and said sincerely, you have wasted so long for me this time, you really should go back and have a good rest. Lu Yuyu smiled sweetly and said nothing. After waving his little hand at Zian, he turned around and left. Zian's safety. She wasn't worried at all. She also knew that Zian was selected into the Super Genius Protector program. What's more, Zian now thinks that the powerful captain of the void ship is protecting him at all times, so he doesn't have to worry about his safety at all. Even the third senior brother Wu Lu, after learning about this incident, directly withdrew the 2 immortal ships sent to protect Zian. There is a void ship captain and guardian. What more immortal ship is needed? 10 immortal ships are not as good as the toes of 1 void ship. Brother Su, let's go first. Lone Wolf and the others also greeted Zian affectionately. Nearly a year of pioneering rodent eradication program. Their starships have also evolved to the destroyer level. As early as last month, after their starship evolved into a destroyer, they automatically withdrew from this plan. Because the rodent vanguard program only allowed assault ship captains, they had to withdraw. Now that it's over, it's natural to go back with Lu Yuyu. In addition, this year's getting along with each other has ended. Their admiration for Zian can be regarded as deep down. Even though he is older than Zian, he calls brother Su willingly. In addition, Zian came to help with the evolution of their starships this year. Even the last time their destroyer evolved, it was all from Zian. These days, Zian, the success rate of evolving destroyers has naturally reached 100%. And the quality has reached the unparalleled level of purple. That is to say, as long as Zian is willing, you can take the 3rd grade evolution master assessment at any time now. Just evolve a purple starship with peerless quality. Then Zian is a 3rd level evolution master. However, there is no rush for this kind of thing. Originally, Zian planned to pass the exam after returning to Shenzhou University. Now, I will wait until I go to the Taiku training camp. Or simply wait until the girls' starships are ready to evolve into destroyers, and then take the assessment. Things to do by the way. Destroyer class. The starships of the girls must achieve the overall unparalleled quality of purple. Zian's brilliant account is 100% of overall purple quality. However, when an evolutionist evolves, his or her own starship is not counted in the assessment. Because the evolver knows his own starship very well, it is not at the same level of difficulty as evolving other people's starships. Only evolving other people's starships counts as assessment. What's more, Zian is in no rush to activate the 4th level now. If nothing else, the 4th grade evolution simulation can obtain 100,000 wealth points at a time. It's really a bit scary. Of course, it's possible that you don't need so much, but there's no rush now. Now I am conquering the evolution of the cruiser. When I can evolve the cruiser, it's almost time to start the 4th grade evolution simulation. But Lone Wolf's starship is only 100% red and of excellent quality. But even with this quality, they are extremely satisfied. For this purpose, Zian was paid a large sum of school points as a reward. It can be said that please ask Zian to evolve the starship for them. All the evolution values they had accumulated over the years were wiped out at once. Shockingly expensive. But the effect is also good and scary. Lu Yuyu left with the people from the Lone Wolf fleet. Back to the Earth Federation. Not a moment later, Lu Tianming and his fleet members also came to say goodbye to Zian. Lu Tianming has now returned to his original verbosity, and has no intention of competing with Zian. He hugged Zian's shoulders with great enthusiasm and said in a hearty voice, Zian, next time you come to our Chongyue star territory, remember to tell me. Let me do my part as a landlord and show you the starry landforms of our Chongyue star territory. But I won't keep you this time. You should go back to Yao star territory, right? Besides, I don't have time to spend time with you, because... Speaking of this, Lu Tianming said mysteriously, because, buddy, I am going to a place recently. When bro, I come back from there. Hee. Maybe then, bro, I will be stronger than you. Seeing how mysterious Lu Tianming was, Zian also became curious. What place is so magical? Lu Tianming smiled proudly. Taiku Galaxy Training Camp. Have you heard of it? The Taiku Galaxy Training Camp is the most awesome talent training camp in our Jiuxiao Shanghai. It is also one of the top talent training camps in the entire universe and the Human Federation. The geniuses who come out of it, TSK, will make a huge leap forward. But the quota is extremely precious and the need is extremely high. In our family, we have to give up the efforts of the boss to give me a place in the second hospital. But let me tell you, even if it's the second hospital, it's pretty cool. Anyway, just wait. Next time we meet, don't let me catch you up, ha ha ha. As Lu Tianming spoke, he felt even more proud. But he didn't notice at all, the smile flashed in Su Zian's eyes, and the strange look on Qin's beautiful and muscular girl's face. Su Zian didn't say anything, but nodded meaningfully, that's good. Then I wish you a bright future. I hope you can be better than me next time we meet. Lu Tianming patted Su Zian's shoulder grandly and said loudly, we are all buddies. Your talent is the strongest I have ever seen. You're not bad either. Let's encourage each other. Su Zian nodded with a very serious expression, okay. Let's encourage each other. After Lu Tianming said goodbye, the children couldn't hold back their laughter. Qin Fuyue put her arms around Su Zian's neck, pursed her lips and stamped Su Zian's cheek, and said with a sweet smile, you are so bad. But I'm still looking forward to it. What will his expression be like when he sees us at the Taiku Galaxy training camp in 3 months' time? Su Zian smiled, rubbed Qin Fuyue's 0.5 cerebellum lovingly, and said with a smile, I don't know what his expression is, but I know that the Taiku Galaxy training camp will definitely not be simple. This time we go, we have to work hard together with our children. Don't waste this spot. The girls nodded hurriedly. After that, I said hello to a few familiar geniuses. The various materials and resources of the brilliant fleet have also been replenished. Only then once again, embarked on the journey to the ancient galaxy. The Taiku Galaxy is one of the more than 900 galaxies in the Nine Heavens Star Sea. The Jiuxiao Star Sea is a medium to large star sea among the 108 star seas in the Human Federation of the universe. It covers more than 900 galaxies, which is not a small number. The Taiku Galaxy is separated by several galaxies from the Qian Galaxy, where Su Zian and the others are located. So I want to reach the ancient galaxy. Thanks to the void ship. Otherwise, want to arrive within 3 months. An almost impossible task. Think no more. According to the coordinates given by the bodyguard, Mu Ziqiu, the dazzling fleet galloped towards her location, in no man's sky, 33 light-years from the Venus-Mercury star system. A huge starship, like a crawling beast, was floating there quietly, although it was suspended there without any movement. And the appearance doesn't look ferocious at all. Can be biased. That kind of fierce, domineering, and even violent sense of terror and oppression came to my face like the sky was blocking out the sun. Su Zian had seen his third senior brother's starship and several immortal ships. But the sense of oppression brought by this void ship is something that those immortal ships cannot bring anyway. What kind of feeling does it give people? This void ship feels like. Although there is no action. But in the next second, it seemed that with a wave of his hand, he could easily destroy the terrifying feeling of this world. Visual inspection. This void ship is a full 32,000 meters long. Although this length is still nearly 5,000 meters away from the limit length. But know that the length of the void ship is between 22,000 to 36,999.9 meters, according to what Su Zian learned. In fact, there are many void ship captains who are only about 20,000 meters away, and there are relatively few who exceed 28,000 meters. Because after the immortal ship, there are antimatter, dark matter, black hole, cannon, etc. All of them are no longer as powerful as ordinary weapons. A large amount of biological energy must be injected to stimulate the maximum power. A simpler way to describe it is at 11 o'clock. After the immortal ship, it is equivalent to those cultivators who are separated from mortals in those fairy tales and fantasy novels. Mortal weapons can be wielded normally. But a strong man who transcends mortals wields weapons. Then you can have sword energy, and use spiritual power to release spells to attack the enemy. On top of the weapon, you can also have a layer of spiritual power to attack the enemy. After becoming the captain of the immortal ship, it is equivalent to adding biological energy to their starship defense, thereby making it achieve even more terrifying defense capabilities. Their starship weapons, such as the main gun firing, can be equipped with biological energy to increase their power. Even every shell. They can all be equipped with a certain amount of biological energy, allowing them to inspire even more terrifying power. In short, after the immortal ship captain, bioenergy has become particularly important. Under the captain of the immortal ship, biological energy is only used to drive the starship to fight. On top of the immortal ship captain, biological energy generals can bring more powerful defense, attack power, and even speed to the starship during battle. Why is there a video on the internet showing that a strong man can easily blow up a starship with one punch? It's because she is also an immortal level powerful queen. Bioenergy can also cover the whole body, or even be released externally. But this is after all an era of giant ships and galaxies. No matter how strong your personal strength is. Let's put it that way. Zian is now driving a destroyer to fight against an immortal-class strongman who is not driving a starship. It's really not certain who will win and who will lose. No matter how powerful your body is, unless you are a higher-level powerhouse, no matter how powerful your body is, you will never be able to defeat a starship. Otherwise, what else would a starship do? Wouldn't it be better to just fight with one's own body? Physical combat is the biological captain's last resort. However, only after becoming the captain of the immortal ship can one master certain biological energy fighting methods. But in fact, I have begun to have a preliminary grasp of the Star Destroyer level. Anyway, bioenergy, the further back it goes, the more important it becomes. But it's definitely not just about tempering your body, making you immortal, and controlling starships in battle. So, this also leads to the fact that the further the biological starship evolves, the less likely it is to approach the extreme length, width, and height. The further back you go, the more you may need to control the length, width, and height of the starship. And those that can reach a very high level of length, width, and height. Let's put it that way. The evil genius starts. Even top monsters and geniuses can achieve this. That is to say, he is the protector and bodyguard Muzicho. He is a top-notch monster, even a genius-level void ship captain. Zian never expected it. He could actually get such a super genius and super strong person to be his protector. Keep yourself safe all the way down to the cruiser captain. After the cruiser captain, in general, he will no longer be included in the super genius protection plan. Cruiser captain, in the entire universe. They are all strong. Cruiser captain is a hurdle. After reaching the cruiser captain level, you can space jump. Your lifespan will skyrocket. The starship has also reached the kilometer level. The transition from Star Destroyer captain to immortal captain is also a hurdle. After crossing, life is eternal. Of course it's too far away to think about it now. At this moment, Zian was enjoying watching the terrifying behemoth in front of him, with envy in his eyes. As a biological captain, driving a starship tens of thousands of meters across the vast galaxy is definitely the ultimate pursuit of every biological captain. Zian is no exception. At this time, the cargo bay door of the void ship was also opened, apparently allowing Zian and the girls to park their starship inside. There are many things in the cargo hold, but the remaining space is enough for 10 cruisers, not to mention their starships. After all, the height is still so high. If the parking is superimposed, the remaining space is even enough to berth 100 cruisers. This shows how huge and terrifying a starship of this level is. Starship, pretty good. The hatch was also closed, and several people got off the starship. Immediately, a gentle voice sounded from the surrounding area, "Go straight along the corridor." The voice was as warm as water, but it also carried a coldness that could repel people thousands of miles away. Very nice to listen to, but very complicated. Zian and the others didn't think much about it. They looked curiously at the interior of the starship and walked along the corridor. Tell the truth. As an evolutionist, it is quite satisfying for Zian to have such close contact with a void ship. The combination and integration of various parts dazzled Zian. However, the specific data is definitely not known, and it is not even clear what types of parts they are. At this level, every bit of data on a starship is top-secret information about its captain. Because a strong man of this level must have entered the key research list of the Inhumans and insects. After entering this list, any parameters will be leaked. It is very likely that they will be specially targeted. At a level like Zian's, enemies would not pay attention to their data at all. First, at this level, it evolves very quickly. They may have evolved to the next level before they even collected the information. In addition, at Zian's level, they couldn't cause much damage at all. There is no need to pay attention to the parameters at all. You only need to know that Zian is a genius at the level of genius, and then killing him is what the Inhumans and insects are concerned about. Fortunately, this void ship is equipped with a self-propelled track inside. The self-propelled track means that if you stand on it, the ground will automatically carry people forward at a very fast speed. Otherwise, this corridor alone is more than 30,000 meters long. It would take several hours just to walk. Why, you ask? More than 30,000 meters, doesn't that sound good? Doesn't it sound like it's not very long? Huh. In reality? 30,000 meters, that's a full 20 kilometers. The length of the corridor inside this void ship reaches 30 kilometers. If you walk normally, it would take you several hours to cover 30 kilometers? Calculate it like this. This is the most intuitive understanding of how terrifying the size of the void ship is. At this time, not far ahead is the cockpit area of the void ship. The cockpit of the void ship. No matter how small it is, it can't be much smaller. With this group of people, if there is just a little space between fingers, the cockpit may be larger than that of an assault ship. In fact, it is. Far away. A huge, sci-fi-like cockpit appears in front of you. On the only chair in the cockpit, there was a woman sitting with her back to them. She was looking down at something. You can tell just from her graceful, S-shaped curves. Let's not tell you what it looks like. Just talk about this figure. It's so ***king amazing. Obviously she also knew that Zian and others had arrived. The moment Zian and others just entered the cockpit, the chair she was sitting on slowly turned around, revealing her true face. The moment I saw her, even the 5 girls Qin Fuyue, Hu Qiqi, Miao Xiaomi, Bai Xiaoyuan, and Tai Mei, eyes straightened. Keep your eyes on the other person. In eyes full of stunning colors. If you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee or checking out my shirts on TeePublic. Zian admitted that he was distracted for a moment. After all, even if you see a beautiful scenery, I believe anyone will be distracted for a moment. Could it be that when a woman sees a super handsome guy and a man sees a super beauty, are you sure you won't take a second look? But he quickly came back to his senses, nodded and said, "Hello." Mu Ziqiu is a very mature woman. Her charm of a mature woman emanates from her bones. Every frown and every smile is full of what ordinary people call femininity. The wavy black hair adds a unique flavor to her. There was always a faint smile on her extremely beautiful face. The smile is very gentle and gentle. But if you look closely, you will find that in this gentleness of hers, there is also a kind of alienation that repels people thousands of miles away. This is a woman full of maturity, gentleness, but coldness. At first glance, she doesn't seem very powerful. But if you feel it carefully, you will find she just sat there quietly, and a ubiquitous pressure filled the entire cockpit. This is the terrifying pressure of being a void-level powerhouse. Yes, the captain of the Star Destroyer is a War Emperor class. The captain of the immortal ship is an immortal class. Captain of the void ship, the surroundings are empty. What is void? Endless life and immortal body. This is the immortal level. Shatter the void and move freely in space. This is the void level. Shatter the void and move freely in space. It's not just that the void ship can truly swim in the vast starry sky. More represents the physical body of a biological captain of this level. Its strength is enough to withstand the turbulence of space jumps with the body, and it can already perform space jumps with the body. How powerful! How terrifying! Even a full blow from a void-level powerhouse can cause slight space cracks. But that kind of space crack will automatically recover in an instant. It's like a puddle of water. If you chop it down with a knife, it can form an extremely short space. But it will recover instantly. So is the universe. Only the cannonballs of the void ship can truly create a space crack that is large in area and lasts long enough. But it is enough to show the power of the void-level experts. Hearing Zian's greetings, Muzicho's eyes that seemed to contain ripples like an autumn lake gently looked at Zian. Nodding slightly, Muzicho's red lips parted slightly, and her voice was extremely gentle. Hello. Welcome to my Qiuliang. This void ship of hers is called Qiuliang? It's quite artistic. Zian muttered secretly in his heart. At the same time, Muzicho also stood up from his seat, and at this moment, he could see her figure clearly. Will be true. Very very greedy. It's not that Muzicho's figure is better than Miao Xiaomi, Bai Xiaoying, Hu Qiqi, Qin Fuyue, Hai Tang, or even Lu Yuyu. Because the figures of these girls all have their own merits, and no one is better than anyone else. Can only say, their figures are all super good. If I have to use metaphor. Miao Xiaomi bodybuilding, the white kite is graceful, Fox Qiqi is charming, Qin Fuyue is pretty, Begonia is tall, Lu Yuyu is delicate, even Qi Jingyi is heroic. Huh? Why is there still the second senior sister, Qi Jingyi? Zian doesn't know. Anyway, I suddenly thought of her. None of this matters. Now it's Muzicho. Muzicho has a real S-shaped figure full of mature femininity. The kind that is fatal to men. The kind that makes you want to hold her in your arms when you look at her, and then imagine in your mind that holding her in your arms will be very comfortable. Anyway, the smell of a mature woman is so special. Suddenly, Zian felt that his elbows were held by two small hands. He was slightly startled and looked around. Can't help but smile. On the left is Qin Fuyue. On the right-hand side is the fox. A little cat next to him stared at him eagerly. Qin Fuyue and Hu Qiqi both pursed their lips and looked unhappy. Then he looked at Muzicho's eyes, full of vigilance. Obviously, both are women. They were even more able to feel how much of a threat Muzicho posed to them. I understand more clearly how attractive a woman like Muzicho is to men, regardless of age group. Look at Muzicho again. Although she was always smiling softly, the hint of interest in her eyes was still caught by Zian. He couldn't help but shook his head and smiled bitterly, saying, "Okay." Muzicho said, "Call me Sister Mu." Zian nodded, "Okay, Sister Mu. I'm sorry to trouble you during this time." Muzicho shook his head and said with a smile, "It doesn't matter, I have endless life, it doesn't matter. Besides, you paid 100 million in tolls, didn't you? I can make 200 million. As he spoke, he winked at Zian. Zian's heart skipped a beat when he blinked. And Zian could clearly feel that there were already 3 small hands pinching his waist. On purpose. This bodyguard must have done it on purpose. Zian gritted his teeth secretly, with a calm look on his face, and said, "This is what it should be." After all, the starship's losses are not small. "Ah, Sister Mu, when will we leave?" Zian did not dare to continue chatting with Muzicho. There is something to say. In fact, he was not threatened by the 3 women. He himself couldn't stand Muzicho. The interest in Muzicho's eyes became more intense, as if he had discovered something new and interesting. But there was no trace of it on his face, and his voice was still so gentle and gentle. Then let's set off now. 23 days have passed. We have plenty of time to get to know each other, so as not to waste time on the road. Muzicho's words. Zian was speechless. Completely speechless. What the hell? What does it mean to have plenty of time to get to know each other? Is it true that these words make people think so much? Feeling the three little hands exerting more force on his lower back, Zian felt a little headache. This Muzicho is poisonous. Fortunately, Yuanzi didn't go too far. From the corner of his eye, he saw that the flesh on Zian's waist was being twisted and turned in a full circle by a few small hands, and then he smiled and stopped continuing. Because this is the first time we meet, we are not very familiar with each other yet. So after meeting him once, he was ready to say goodbye and go back to his starship. This starship belongs to Muzicho. No matter how big her bedroom is, it is impossible for Zian and the others to live in it. What's more, Zian is a man, which is even more impossible. But these are minor problems. Everyone's own starship is completely habitable and is not a problem at all. After saying hello to Muzicho, everyone left one after another. Only when Zian turned around and was about to leave, a voice floated into Zian's ears. Little guy, next time you dare to look around, my sister won't let you go so easily. Do you understand? Zian turned around suddenly. But he saw that Muzicho had sat down again and turned around, leaving only his back. The starship has also entered the startup state at this moment, preparing to enter the countdown to space jump. Understood. Zian understood. He understood why he, the bodyguard, needed him when they met for the first time just now. It turned out to be because he just glanced at her figure a few times. But damn, I'm not looking around blindly. Besides, you are wearing clothes. That's it? Just remember it? And then immediately prank me? Zian was convinced. He suddenly realized. This void-level powerhouse reached. Seems to be a small-minded person. Thinking of this, Zian deliberately opened his eyes wide and glanced fiercely at Muzicho's perfect figure several times. Then he looked away with satisfaction. Don't let me see it? I just want to watch it. What can you do to me? From the Qian galaxy to the Taiku galaxy. The straight line distance exceeds 270 million light-years. Yes. That's right. 270 million light-years. Light has to travel a distance of 270,000 years in the universe. You can imagine how terrifying this distance is. If there is no wormhole stargate, if there is no space jumping technology, just traveling faster than light speed, even traveling at 10 times the speed of light, it would take 27 million years to arrive. But it is precisely because of this space jumping technology and the existence of the wormhole stargate. Therefore, it only takes 23 days to go from Qian galaxy to Taiku galaxy. Even after reaching the level of void ship. Ordinary wormhole stargates can't even compare to the jumping distance of the starship itself. Unless it's a super large, super long-range wormhole stargate. As for a void ship, the normal space jump distance is tens of millions of light-years. Moreover, the space jump speed of the void ship itself is determined by the power and quality of its engine to determine the length of the jump. I don't know about other void ships. But Muzicho's Qiuliang. The distance of a jump is 13 million light-years. Each jump time is 14 hours. The cooling time is about 9 hours. Quite powerful. That is to say, the Qiuliang wants to reach the Imperial City star system from the Earth Federation's Shenzhou star system. It can even be reached in just a few hours. This is the origin of the name of the Shattered Void, space-wandering void ship. Void ship. In the true sense 023, the void is broken and you can swim in the universe. Distance. for void ships, it is no longer a problem. Of course, this is just a general statement. Because the universe is so big and vast. After truly evolving to the void ship level, the universe in his eyes is no longer based on light years as the unit of distance. Instead, the unit is leaping to the sky. What is uattaion? Uattaion is the same as before. It is also a unit of distance, not a unit of time. The so-called leap to the sky is a space jump, the distance of the sky. In fact, according to the Unified Distance Standard of the Universal Human Federation, one leap into the sky is equivalent to a distance of 100 million light-years. For example, the distance from Zian Galaxy to Tycho Galaxy is 270 million light-years. Converted to sky-jumping distance, it is 2.7 sky-jumping distance. Jumping into the sky. There are also leaping years and eras. Jump to the sky. It is the distance of a space jump in one day, and the unit is 100 million light-years. A year jump is a distance of 1 year in space, which is 36.5 billion light-years. UG. It is the distance of a century jump in space, which is also the distance of 100 years of space jump. That's 3.65 trillion light-years. The real distance dimension of the entire universe is calculated in tens of thousands of leaps. It can be seen. How big is the real universe? Don't know anything else. Zian only knows. From his current location, Inzhong's words from the human race. The total distance is approximately 7.7 million epochs. As for ancient times, astronomers on Earth said that the diameter of the universe was only 93 billion light-years. In fact, the true size of the universe is beyond the imagination of Earth scientists in ancient times. He hadn't even been out of the solar system, so don't expect the scientists of that period to know how old the baby was. Just like birds that have been kept in a birdcage since childhood, the world they see is only what they can observe to the highest limit. The rest can only rely on guesswork and judgment. In fact, how can they truly know how big the universe is? This is a limitation of science and technology. In ancient times, scientists were actually able to achieve that step, which is already worthy of admiration. And here's what to know. This is just the distance between the Jinhua star territory, where Zian is currently located, and the border of the insects. If it were the distance of the entire universe. In fact, there is currently no accurate understanding. It's not that it can't be detected. But every moment, the universe is expanding. At every moment, there are space turbulence and chaotic galaxy areas at the edge of the universe. They will all expand outward to a certain extent. And it is omnidirectional, so it is not clear how many epochs there are in the universe. Zie. Even if it is a void ship. I want to go from one end of the universe to the other without any obstacles. Hundreds of millions of years are not enough. It also needs to be one that does not cool down, is uninterrupted, and continuously jumps through space. If you really want to pass under normal conditions, even if you have enough fuel and supplies, not even a billion years, don't even think about it. The Chiliang quickly entered a space jumping state. Space jump and pulse jump are not the same thing at all. Anyway, Zian doesn't understand the specific principle. Only know. He's not even a cruiser yet, so it's useless to envy them now. The most important thing is to think about how to improve your strength honestly. With his current strength, it is estimated that when the Tycho Galaxy training camp officially begins, my own shining number, it should just be time to evolve into a destroyer. And now there is no fighting, so, beg, in order for the girls to continue to maintain this breakthrough speed, no way. They can only let them continue to owe themselves money. If you continue to owe money like this, maybe in the near future, they may have to work for Zian for the rest of their lives. All the money earned must be returned to Zian. Even the stronger they are, the more they owe. When they arrive at the void ship, I'm afraid it will take a long time to pay back the money. It's exciting to think about. What does this equal? This amounts to, Zian doesn't have to do anything in the future. Then there will be a few super strong people working for themselves to make money every day. To describe it more simply, that is, in the future, Zian will not have to do anything. Then there are a few people like Alima and Penguinma who make money for him every day. How awesome is this? At that time, I'm afraid there won't be any shortage of wealth value at all. After happily dreaming about the beautiful scene in the future for a moment, Zian calmed down. Opened the website. I started to continue browsing the parts needed for the Brilliance to evolve into a destroyer. And speaking of the brilliant number, I have to talk about the other ship, the Brilliance. How to say? This time, the brilliant ship cannot follow you for sure. But that's okay. Just let it stop where it is. Anyway, it's free within 1,000,000 light years, and only requires 10,000 wealth points, no matter how far away it is. Not a problem at all. If you are really in danger, just jump. Life safety is greatly guaranteed. The 23-day jump has begun. This is also the first time that Zian has left the Qian galaxy where he is. With the improvement of strength he found, he is far away from the Earth Federation and the solar system. It seems to be getting further and further away. But if you want to become stronger, you can only venture into the outside world and take a look. This is a process that human progress must go through. You will never be strong if you stay in a corner. Except at the beginning, Mu Ziqiu played tricks on Empress Su. There was no more pranks after that. In fact, both parties spend very little time meeting each other. Zian is busy practicing. As for Mu Ziqiu, she didn't know what she was busy with every day. What's more, the gap in strength between the two sides is too big. Even if the other party is now his protector, Zian didn't think that he could have anything to do with or say anything to the other party. There is still some self-knowledge. So in these more than 20 days, Zian ate and slept all on his own starship. All the girls also worked very hard. At Zian's growth rate, if they slack off at all, they will not be able to keep up with Zian's progress. Will be left far behind. This is definitely not the result they want to see. 23 days later. We're here. I won't pass here. You can go there by yourself. Mu Ziqiu's long-lost gentle voice woke up everyone in the practice. Zian also just finished the Star Wars simulation, nodded immediately and said, "Thank you for these days." The entire starship was Mu Ziqiu's territory. Although she was not in front of him, she could hear whatever she said. Polite. Sure enough, Mu Ziqiu responded softly, and the hatch opened. The meaning is already obvious, just let Zian and the others leave without saying hello. Zian didn't care either. He is a void ship captain, so his level is completely different. Immediately, activate the brilliant account. Leave through the hatch of Choliong. With curiosity, I started to look at this brand new place. The location of the Taiku Galaxy Training Camp is located in the Zian Red Star System. The Zian Red Star System is even larger than the Imperial City Star System of the Earth Federation. Such a large star system completely belongs to the area of the Taiku Galaxy Training Camp. The only difference is that this star system only has an area, there are not many more planets, and the size of the planets is not very large either. Mainly, it is relatively scattered. The red star system is a binary star system. A red supergiant star and a blue supergiant star complement each other, emitting huge amounts of heat, energy, and light. In the entire star system, all energy is, as expected, provided by two stars, and it is more than enough. Energy can even be said to be endless, and energy is almost free. Actually, in the universe, the light energy used in many star systems is almost free. Residents can use all kinds of electricity and so on in their homes as they please, without charging a penny. In other words, for some industrial electricity consumption, a very small amount of maintenance fees for the stellar maintenance system will be charged. For these industries, this amount of money is a drop in the bucket. Not worth mentioning at all. Today's era. Only the energy used by starships and spaceships is charged, and the rest of the energy is almost free. This is a federal private area. Please do not go forward on your own, otherwise you will be attacked. Also explain your identity and purpose of coming. Just when the brilliant fleet had just picked up the aircraft within a light-year range of the Red Star system, a warning sound immediately sounded in the communicator. The Taiku Galaxy Training Camp has gathered almost the top group of super geniuses in the entire Jiucheng Xinghai. This has always been a key area of concern for the enemy. The defensive strength is quite terrifying. After all, if the Taiku Galaxy Training Camp is overrun by someone, good guy, that will be a huge blow to these super geniuses in Jiuxia Xinghai. It may even lead to the emergence of a group of powerful people in Jiuxia Xinghai in the future. To know. War is cruel. No matter how powerful the starship captain is, he dare not say that he can survive the war. Even as powerful as Mu Ziqiu, she dare not say that she can survive on the battlefield. Actually, super strong people often fall. And these fallen ones will naturally be succeeded by the super geniuses who will grow up later. 99% of super strong people were once super geniuses. Ordinary people want super strong people? Unless you have an incredible chance, it is almost infinitely close to zero. Otherwise, how could there be a genius? In addition, not every super genius can become a super strong person. Therefore, every super genius is particularly important to the Cosmic Human Federation. If this was done in one pot, the loss would be too great. Zian pressed the communicator and replied, "We are the Weiyan Galaxy Earth Alliance fleet." At the same time, this is the group of students who came to participate in the training. My starship number is... Zian said the number of the brilliant number. After that, the girls also said their numbers. The starship number is the top secret of each starship. Because there are currently technical means that can lock your specific location through your starship number. Of course, the inhumans and insects cannot be locked at all. But the key thing to fear is the human traitors. There are human traitors from all walks of life. In case a human traitor with such locking authority locks the location of a certain character based on the starship number, and then sets up an ambush, that situation is very bad. Starship numbers are the top secret among top secrets. Even the officials of the Universal Human Federation do not know the number of each starship. And that number was automatically and randomly generated by the general optical brain of the Universal Human Federation. After generating this number, the starship is equivalent to having a legal identity. For example, now that the Brilliance is in the Taiku training camp, they have the display information of their own starship, but they don't know the number. However, the Taiku training camp must be absolutely our own, and there can be no human traitors. If a human traitor infiltrates even the Taiku training camp, it can only be said that the Universal Federation of Humanity is not going to die soon. So it doesn't matter if you tell them your starship number. After review, it was approved immediately. Welcome, Brilliant Fleet, given that there are still nearly 3 months until the start of school. During this period, you can live, visit and rest on the cyanobacteria star in the Red Star system. But your scope of activities is limited to the cyanobacteria star. Please do not leave the cyanobacteria star range at will, let alone go to other planets at will. Otherwise, you will be responsible for any adverse consequences. Of course, you can also leave first and come back to participate after this training officially begins. The other party told them the rules of the training camp. Zian naturally didn't make any sense and said, "No problem. We will abide by the rules here." The words just fell. The Star Crystal Light Brain received a route guide, guiding their sailing route and also guiding them to dock in the starport area. Except for the route, which is displayed in green, all other areas are displayed in red. Obviously, once you enter the red range, you will be attacked mercilessly. Zian had no intention of causing trouble. After confirming the route, he immediately took the girls and flew to the Zanhong star system according to the route. The cyanobacteria star is a planet whose environment and color are very similar to those of the Earth. The reason why it is called the cyanobacteria star is because there is a special or unique type of algae called moonlight cyanobacteria growing on this planet. This unattainable cyanobacteria is a kind of natural treasure, but it is the kind used for treatment. It is widely used to make various medicines to treat injuries. It can also be taken directly after injury. Therefore, there is also an area on the cyanobacteria star that cannot be entered. It is specially used for planting and cultivating unattainable cyanobacteria. Request flowers 00. But in other areas, you can move at any time. And the living environment inside is no different from ordinary cities. Various forms of entertainment, as well as various products, etc. There are many residents living on it. However, most of these residents should be staff and their families. The cyanobacteria star is undoubtedly quite prosperous. Perhaps the population is far less than that of some star system planets. But there are still more than 2 billion people. The land area of the cyanobacteria star is similar to that of the Earth. This population. Actually, it's not bad. Anyway, those cities are quite lively. During this period, you want to rest and practice. After getting off the starship, Zian looked at the girls and warned, "You want to rest, I don't care about you. But, in 3 months, I must see you break through to the 10th level assault ship level. 0.00. Although there is no fighting now, there is an unlimited supply of a large amount of natural materials and earthly treasures every day. The daily cost is tens of millions, and it is impossible to break through under such circumstances." Zian shrugged at this point and said no more. Because he believed that the girls would understand what he meant. Really, hear what Zian said. Including Qin Fuyue, everyone could not help but frown. Regarding Zian's squeezing training method. In fact, they have long been used to it. I am also more mentally prepared. But there was nothing they could do. What can be done? Zian is making rapid progress. So as members of Zian's brilliant fleet, their progress is slow. Then how can we keep up with Zian? Of course, they don't want to become the drag bottle of the dazzling fleet, so I could only forcefully suppress my inner thoughts of going shopping and eating and drinking, and started planning my training plan for the next 80 days. Zian also left Starport without stopping and took the girls to find a nearby hotel. 1 year and 8 months have passed since the 3-year commitment with Haitang. There are only 1 year and 4 months left before the 3rd year. But now, he is still just the captain of the assault ship. Over the next year and 4 months, he wants to break through to the destroyer. Break through to the cruiser again, in this way. That's why I didn't break my promise. Seriously. The further you go, the more difficult it becomes to practice. Zian realized this deeply. Now, just work harder to fulfill the promise. The most important is Zian. I am also very much looking forward to what the brilliance will look like after it evolves into a cruiser. Cruiser. Only then do you truly have the qualifications to swim in the sea of stars. Battlefield. It must be very desirable, right? Of course, the most important thing be the captain of Begonia. 0. Parts for the destroyer ordered by Zian. Start expedited shipping. Most of them, he redeemed them with school points from the school's treasure house. Those points are not used now. When will they be used? Now. This is where it comes in handy. Destroyer class. Zian does not plan to replace any of the major components. The parts he purchased were actually non-main parts, the kind of parts that he didn't want to spend too much resources on for pure evolution. Like a balancer or something. This is definitely just a matter of buying ready-made devouring fusion, like the keel of the Honor series, heavy hydrogen atom-shaped energy cannon, and so on. Zian is preparing to pure evolve to the destroyer level. What is pure evolution? Pure evolution is a term used in the great evolution of starships. You're not really the one who says that every time a starship evolves, it uses higher level parts for devouring and fusion, right? Those parts can indeed be obtained for low to mid-level or even high-level starships. But for those top-notch starships, where do they get their parts? 150 is already top-notch, so where can they get higher-end parts and components for them to evolve? Even if there is, can they beat it? So where did the parts for their great evolution come from? FFLX. This is where true evolution comes from. Previously, I had been using the method of swallowing and absorbing other parts, and then using some metal materials to improve and evolve. In fact, it is an evolutionary way of taking shortcuts. These two ways of evolution have advantages and disadvantages. Devouring the way of evolution. Simple. Easy. Evolution consumes much less financial resources and evolution values. And save time and effort. After all, it is a higher-level component that devours others. How difficult can it be if you have the foundation here? But there are also disadvantages. Disadvantages. That is, the performance of a starship evolved in this way will definitely not be as powerful as that of its own pure evolution. But pure evolution? That's different. The advantages are very obvious. Better performance. And more freedom. Because pure evolution is equivalent to this component and even this starship. You can completely evolve the appearance and performance you want according to your preferences. The disadvantages are more obvious. The requirements for evolvers are particularly high. Pure evolution, not a monster genius level evolver, don't even think about it. Even evil genius level evolvers cannot evolve products of high quality, and their success rate is not very good. Only the genius level evolutionists can be confident enough. Fortunately, Zian is talented and is a genius. There are also countless simulations of the system. In the years before this, he had been always preparing to complete the pure evolution of a starship by himself. Because in the future, after the brilliant number becomes stronger, pure evolution is the only way out. According to the information Zian knows. At present, many top experts are stuck at the current level and cannot be promoted. The reason is of course something like insufficient evolution value. But more. There are still not enough matching parts. There are even some super strong people who wait for a favorite part for tens to hundreds of years, or even hundreds of dollars. If a purely evolutionary approach were adopted at this time, the result would be completely different. In Zian's opinion, there is definitely no problem at this stage, and in the future stage. Pure evolution must be the ultimate way out, so starting to learn the evolutionary method of pure evolution earlier is the direction that Zian has been researching. This time, the brilliant evolved into a destroyer. In fact, Zian was not satisfied with many of the main components, including the keel of a destroyer with the maximum length, width and height that he had previously locked in the school warehouse. To be honest, he is becoming less and less satisfied. The brilliant number that finally evolves will definitely not be the perfect state in my mind. So, just some time ago, Zian gritted his teeth and made up his mind. Since swallowing evolution doesn't work, there are no satisfactory parts. Then I will just pure evolve. Pure evolution. Evolve into whatever you want to evolve into, no more restrictions at all. Pure evolution consumes a lot of financial resources and evolution value. Not even a problem. Not to mention cash. The school points alone are just enough to be used. After all, there are many treasures in the school's treasure house that are very rare in the market. Isn't this just right for use? Bye. Points only belong to you when you use them. Zian decided that all major components should be purely evolved. All minor parts will be purchased. It doesn't matter whether it's satisfying or not. Of course, this does not mean that all Zian's brilliant accounts will be purely evolved in the future. That's certainly not the case. In the future, if you encounter very satisfactory parts, such as when evolving a cruiser, then of course you will directly devour the evolutionary method. There is no shortage of evolutionary value. Zian's evolution value now. It is completely enough for him to have 100% overall purple unparalleled quality and evolve into a destroyer. There is still a lot to spare. Enough. The only thing that bothers Zian, this is the success rate of pure evolution. To be honest, pure evolution is really not that difficult. If it were simple, 97% of the biological captains in the world would not adopt the devouring evolution method. Those super strong people can only wait for decades, hundreds, or even hundreds of years. It's because it's really difficult. Extremely, extremely difficult. So much so that Zian now has very little certainty. But that's okay. With the system in hand, I own the world. The next 80 days. Zian, devote yourself to an evolutionary simulation of pure evolution. He didn't believe it. A full 80 years of system simulation time. Only conduct unlimited simulated pure evolutions for your own brilliant number. Can the success rate be increased to less than 100%? Give me a break. This is Zian's biggest reliance, on the optical brain watch. Zian was frantically buying a large amount of high-end metal materials, as well as a small amount of natural materials and earthly treasures. There are also some high-end parts, and so on. The value of points plus cash is no less than 10 billion. This level. I really started to look at burning money. Money is no longer money. After purchasing, it needs to be shipped. It still needs to be shipped within 3 months. No way. Preparing to place an order at the Interstellar Hunter Guild. Suddenly he was startled. There is no need to place an order with the Star Hunter Guild, right? For this order, he had to pay at least 3 billion cosmic coins for shipping. With this kind of money, it would be better to benefit one's own people than to benefit others. Thinking of this, Zian grinned. Suddenly, the management group of Shenzhou University was opened. This Shenzhou Academy School Leaders Group is the group that Zian created himself. In fact, it's not a group of senior executives at all, it was just a name he shamelessly changed. He was often laughed at by Gu Qingzhan and others in the group. Now, this group also has its place. Open it immediately and start sending messages inside. Shenzhou Academy School Leaders Group. Dean Zian, everyone's attention, everyone's attention. Dean Zian, now let me tell you something. Dean 1.4, Zian, currently, I am in the red star system of the ancient galaxy. Don't ask me what I am doing here. Dean Zian, now, I am about to prepare to break through and become the captain of a destroyer in 3 months. Dean Zian, oh, I know you are shocked, isn't he the destroyer captain? Hey, for this genius, it's nothing, haha, it's nothing. Ha ha ha. Dean Zian, ahem, let's get down to business. Dean Zian, because I wanted to make a breakthrough and lacked materials and parts, I bought them from the school and some places. Dean Zian, is there an urgent need for someone now? Send him to you within 3 months. Dean Zian, don't I think of you all? Dean Zian, don't worry, I will pay you. Dean Zian, I won't cheat you either. Originally, the mission of the Interstellar Hunter Guild cost 1.8 billion. I'll give you an additional 200 million, which is a full 2 billion. Dean Zian, how about it? I am very kind, right? I, Zian, am mainly about being kind. Dean Zian, who among you will take over this task? Zian finished. In a group. They were all eerily quiet, in the group. More than a minute passed. Only then did someone finally speak. Hai Tang, congratulations. Zian grinned. Otherwise, our little Hai Tang is the most considerate. Beginning with Begonia. The group of people in the group finally spoke. TLF. Only then did he wake up from the shock. This is normal. How long has Zian been enrolled in school? More than 3 years and less than 4 years. The second semester isn't even over yet. This is the destroyer going to evolve soon? That is to say, In the first semester of the third semester, Zian must be the destroyer captain? No. The lower the level of the opponent, the slower the breakthrough speed. How did you get here, Zian? The higher the level, the faster the breakthrough speed? Go on at this speed. When he graduates, will he be able to become a battleship captain? Gu Qingzhan, hiss. Are you really a fake destroyer captain? Dean Zian, my dear principal, there is no need for me to lie to you. How about we make a bet? If I break through to the destroyer in 3 months, give me a penny as the vice principal. Gu Qingzhan, get out. Dean Zian, tisk, stingy. Zhan Wushuang, well, ha ha ha. You are worthy of being my disciple of Zhan Wushuang. Not bad. After graduation, I will try to help my mother break through to the battleship captain. Well, ha ha ha. Doesn't that mean that I have a genius under my command? A disciple of the same level? Because the information about Tianjia genius is not necessarily public information. Although these 11 are well known to everyone. In the future, it will be impossible for Zian's identity as a genius to be concealed. But at least, the Universal Human Federation will never take the initiative to promote it. Therefore, on the school side. In fact, I had no idea that Zian had already been recognized as a genius, and he was also a double genius, enjoying the treatment of a top genius. Dean Zian, hee hee. Vice Principal Zhang, haha, Zian is very good, keep up the good work. Seeing Vice Principal Zhang's reply, the smile on Zian's face gradually faded away. Dean Zian, Vice President Zhang, how are you recovering now? Back then, those damn Luyun Divine Sect human traitors made a surprise attack, and Vice Principal Zhang's starship was blown up. A deep spaceship captain's starship was blown up. That was definitely a very unacceptable thing. Vice Principal Zhang, haha, that's great. What's this? You may not know that this is the 4th time I bound to a starship. Vice Principal Zhang, so, don't worry about me. How could I be hit by this? Vice Principal Zhang, long before this, I had successfully bound a starship. Now, I have returned to the assault ship level. Vice Principal Zhang, don't worry about me, it's a trivial matter. Vice Principal Zhang, but you are indeed very impressive. TSK. The 22-year-old destroyer captain is an absolute top-notch evildoer. Seeing Vice Principal Zhang say this, a smile appeared on Zian's face again. He didn't explain anything. At this time, several other vice presidents, deans, and so on. They also sent messages to congratulate Zian. At this time, Mentor Zhan Wushuang spoke. Zhan Wushuang, okay, seeing how hard you work, I will send it to you personally. Zhan Wushuang, but the public should return to the public, and the private should return to the private. Zhan Wushuang, are you still trying to be kind? Your face is thicker than your talent. Zhan Wushuang, don't think I don't know that shipping orders over such long distances start at 3 billion. Zhan Wushuang, but, you are my disciple, I don't want you 3 billion anymore, 2.5 billion, I will give you a reduction of 500 million. Zhan Wushuang, okay, transfer the money, and I'll send it to you now. Dean Zian? Zhan Wushuang, what is the question mark? Just tell me whether it will be transferred or not. Zian made money directly without saying a word. Take a look. Save another 500 million. Our financial management skills are amazing. I chatted with the principal and vice principals for a few more words, briefly talking about my current situation, and with their unanimous encouragement, I ended the chat. Things are bought. Mentor Zhan Wushuang sent it over personally. With the mentor's strength, ordinary deep spaceships would just deliver food to her. So you don't have to worry about the safety of your supplies, just wait 65 days for the items to arrive and evolve. Yes. It would take a full 65 days for a deep spaceship to travel such a long distance and pass through multiple wormhole star gates along the way. After all, there is a huge difference between deep spaceships and void ships. Not on the same level at all. The days after, Zian fell into the same boring life every day. No. It's not exactly the same as before. At least, compared to the boring days before, there is a touch of sweetness in today's boring days. Qin Fuyue would come to see Su Zian every few days. The name of the United States and Japan. Let Su Zian see how quickly she progresses. Actually, it's just greedy Su's body. 1 month later, Su Zian completed the evolution of the brilliant number 9 to 10. During this month, the number of people who came here to participate in this training gradually increased. It's just because Su Zian and his party stay in the hotel all day long, never leaving the door. Rarely encountered, I didn't pay too much attention to it. But one thing is for sure. Lu Tianming's guy definitely didn't come. Otherwise, it depends on that guy's character. Just arrive. It's just a communication video sent to myself to show off. Since I'm not showing off, that's definitely not here yet. Continue to practice. According to Su Zian's current level, plus it's double. Indeed, the bioenergy required is really too much. Fortunately, my physique has recently experienced another small breakthrough. More biological energy can be converted every day. The original estimate was 2 months. Now, it will take about a month and a half to reach the full level of 10th grade combat master level biological energy. Thus, wait until the training camp starts. Just enough to catch up with his breakthrough to the destroyer captain level. After breaking through to the destroyer captain, the only problem. *T. Own. Is it really possible to break through a level in 1 month? Hope. This training camp. You can really surprise yourself. Training camp. Plus the system's daily bioenergy conversion. Just wait and see. Wait until training camp ends in a year. Own. Whether it is possible to break through to the cruiser captain. Su Zian is still looking forward to this. A month passed by in a hurry. This day, Zhang Wushuang is finally here. 2 full years later, I saw my mentor again. Su Zian still feels quite cordial in his heart. However, the two parties met outside the Red Star system. Because Zhang Wushuang can't come in. Yes, even Zhang Wushuang, such registered personnel cannot get in. Can only say, the training camp has really taken care of safety and security, but that's okay. If she can't come in, she can just go out on her own. Su Zian and the other girls went directly to Zhang Wushuang's starship to meet her. After not seeing each other for 2 years, Zhang Wushuang gave Su Zian a big hug as soon as he came up. There was a hint of tenderness in his eyes. But it was soon replaced by roughness. He slapped Su Zian on the shoulder and said loudly, "How is it? How long will it take to break through?" Su Zian grinned and said, "Let's have another Kaitian around." Zhang Wushuang's eyes lit up and he nodded repeatedly, not bad, very good. I never expected that you would come to the Taiku Galaxy training camp. It seems that the 3-year agreement between you and Xiaotang can really come true. After a year, even if you can't become a cruiser captain, you will at least be a level 127 destroyer captain. TSK, it seems that your teacher has really spent a lot of money on you. After finishing speaking, without waiting for Su Zian to say more, Zhang Wushuang waved his hand and said, "Okay. I came here this time and I didn't plan to go back so early. I will stay here this year. Nothing else. I just want to see what level you can finally break through this year. You don't have to worry about me, just practice your own medicine." After hearing Zhang Wushuang's words, Su Zian felt warm in his heart. Why do you want to see what level you can finally break through this year? The instructor said this purely to protect himself and to protect himself. Yes. Since the instructor knows about Taiku training camp, he must also know what the mortality rate of this training camp is. Her idea is simple. I just want to protect Su Zian during this year. Of course, she didn't know the specific training content. I don't even know if I have a chance to protect myself. But it's heartwarming. Perhaps, Zhan Wuxuan, the mentor, is not that competent. But her feelings towards herself are not fake. In this regard, Zian will not refuse her kindness. Even if he has the bodyguard of the void ship captain, he will not reject this offer. As for where Zhan Wuxuan will stay this year, it doesn't matter at all. Just stay here. The deep space ship's material storage is enough to provide food and clothing for more than 10 years. Just 1 year is not important at all. The materials for starship evolution were delivered. Next, it's the brilliant number. It's officially time to evolve into a destroyer. Onto the destroyer. Distance cruiser. The highest combat power in ordinary star systems. He is also the captain of the most powerful cruiser in the solar system. It is truly capable of sailing long distances. Just one step away. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.